What is going on, gamers? It is time for the RGH podcast. We got some cute gamers, Mtashed, KackisHD, and True Vanguard, and today we're going to be talking about all things gaming on episode number 28. That's right, you guys have been dealing with us and our BS for 28.
For 28 weeks.
For 28. And guess what? No tech problems on number 28. We finally figured it out. It's incredible. Good.
Yeah,
Feels good.
I'm knocking on wood. I don't trust that.
Kackis starts talking and he's muted. Like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. So today we got a bunch of different gaming news. Okay, stop
I'm just
trolling.
kidding.
And to pop off here, I got a little bit of bubbly. I'm pouring myself. I'm so
Look
jealous.
at you.
Listen, you guys are always making all these fun drinks, and look at this. I got a little goose. I got a little
Look at you.
goose.
My goodness.
So
What a
I'm
bomb.
joining in on the festivities today because I am excited. While I pour, why don't you hit me up with the Destiny info? Apparently, we had some drunk tweets from one of the villains
This
in the
is
game.
it's actually pretty interesting. So the basic gist of what happened is that Destiny the Game's official Twitter account had sort of like a Twitter takeover by the character Keitel, who is sort of our narrative lead character for this season, right? The daughter of Callus defector. And she's like putting out tweets to Guardians. She's addressing Guardians and like trying to kind of circumvent Zavala and kind of say like, listen, Zavala doesn't want you to join, but listen, this is what I'm offering you. This is what it's going to be like if you join me. And it's kind of cool. And the thing that's cool about it is that account has actually responded directly to people in the community who have like Anon, who tweeted out basically saying, do you ever regret betraying your father? And the Keitel character responded to him and basically said, do you regret not being able to save Cade? You know what I mean? And it's like
First
but
of
it's
all,
now-
Keitel, settle down. Like, we tried.
but the thing that's cool about it is that this is actually like canon now. This is like canon dialogue from a character in the game, a narrative character in the game, having a direct interaction with a person in the community. So is like
Right.
Anon now technically canon that he had an interaction with Keitel? I don't know. I just think it's
Yeah, and that's the thing is because if the character is tweeting that out, like they must exist. And
mad.
if they're doing this, they're talking to the people on Twitter as if they're guardians and they're people that, you know, they maybe have interacted with in game. And I think that is pretty sweet and honestly pretty unique. Like, has the Diablo, you know, like has Blizzard ever been like as Diablo, like I'm gonna kill you? Like, no, they've never.
Yeah, right.
No, it's never done anything like that. And I don't even know of any examples where they have like any games.
It's getting a lot of reactions, like, especially if they're actually going out and responding to some of the meme replies. Like, people are like, step on me. And she's like, I'm already, like, you're already beneath me. And it's like, oh. So all those are like popping off. So it's getting a
That's
lot
right.
of interest in kind of what's going on in like a more fun way than, I mean, it's definitely more interactive than what they kind of usually do, which is like put out a little like blog on lore that
Yeah.
Bife reads and then tells the rest of us about, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot more interactive and like actually involving the community this way, which is cool.
Well, that's the thing is, and I'm actually glad we talked about this, is because I've seen posts from Bife and some other people just talking about the story the last few weeks and how good it's been, and how it almost feels like this is one of the best times. I think SkillUp tweeted it too, where they care about the story. Like they actually are very intrigued and they feel like they don't want to miss it. And you know, I know even myself with Eris Morn and the pyramids coming in. You know, I didn't do the quest every time. Because it felt like the same thing. And I think with Beyond Light, that was one of the first times where I started to really care about those little vocal, quest beats. Listening to The Stranger and listening to that lore, I kind of caught myself going, hold on here. Whoa.
Wait, I'm actually not skipping this cutscene.
Yeah, and so to see that continuing is good, because I thought with Beyond Light, a lot of the story beats were actually pretty good. They were kind of some of the side pieces more than anything, side dialogue, but I think that they do have a pretty awesome world here, and for the people that are involved, I'm glad that they're getting a lot of story and they're enjoying it.
Yeah, the Glycon, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, the lore guys are having a heyday with it. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it's also nice to like have. It seems like this time's story is like it's easy to follow, and that's what kind of makes it interesting in the sense that sometimes Bungie kind of gets a little convoluted with this stuff. Like
Yeah.
in the Black Garden, you're like, what is going on? But like this one,
Yeah.
it's like the Cabal are here. They want to team up. You're like, I don't know. The Cabal are usually the bad guys, and now they're trying to like assassinate Zavala. Like that's simple. Even a dummy like me can follow along. I'm like, I get this. I know what's going on.
Yeah, I
Lore-wise,
don't need
so-
a Bife video.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
like,
I still
I
have-
want to stop that threat. I'm not letting that happen. And I don't even
Yeah,
play the
you're like,
game
"Don't kill
anymore.
Zavala?"
Right.
Yeah. The Glycon stuff has been great because they did sort of incentivize you to replay the missions. And it's not like a lot of games will just kind of add replayability to a mission, but they won't like explain it lore wise. It's just a video game thing that happens, right? But this time it's like, no, every time you go in each week, well, not every time you go in, but every week when they update the mission with the new dialogue, you serve a new purpose. You're going in there not just for the sake of killing the big bad Scorn. This time we're trying to figure out what happened with the ghost and the guardian that's dead there. And this week we're trying to figure out what happened to Callus, and we get different dialogue from Keitel and with Osiris. It's actually quite intriguing. So it adds a lot of replayability there for even someone like me that typically does not replay these missions. I typically do not.
Now, the thing is they also in that big post kind of said, we need one more year. Not we're delaying a year. They need literally another year of content to try to finish the story or this part of the story. And, maybe this is part of the reason why. Is they're starting to add more story. They want to explain things. They want to wrap it up. And they're like, do you know what? If we don't add some more quests, if we don't finish this off properly, it's going to leave people, it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouth. People have been invested in Destiny a long time. They want some answers. They want to see some of these finales. And, even me, like, we did Callus year 1 of Destiny 2, right? And, finding out he was essentially a robot at the end, and that wasn't even him, and it's like, he's out there somewhere. When is that going to come to fruition? And now that we've seen Keitel, right? Like, I'm so curious when some of these story beats really finish. And we've heard of Savathun for so long. I feel like there are these huge moments coming, and I can't wait. That is the one thing is I want to finally see the end of it, because there's so many years where I was just like, all right, cool enemy. Let's kill him.
The one potential downside to all of this is simply the fact that, like, with all these Twitter interactions, Keitel is making some good points. Like, she's like, imagine if you turn Savathun into a gun like you did with certain other hive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that's
Now, hold on.
right. Like,
Now, hold on.
yeah. So the unfortunate part is, like, they're getting more interactive, but we're not going to be able to interact with the story. Like, this is not a game where you can choose, do you want to go with the Cabal or not? Like, I don't think that's going to happen. It's like, it's a linear storyline. And so that is kind of the one downside, is like they're interacting, they're creating all this like intrigue, but then it's like, did you want to become allied with the Cabal? Too bad, dummies. Like, we're not doing it. We're going this way, right? And that's the only downside I can see. Is like, if they kind of like make it too tempting and then don't go that direction, it could backfire a little bit, just in terms of like people would be a little bit disappointed,
Right.
It is one thing that I do find a little bit disappointing, is that my dialogue isn't any different based on the decisions that I've made. Like, I never pursued the Shadow title because I was like, you know what? I was actually, at that time, I was really interested in the lore, because, I mean, the Menagerie was a fantastic activity, and during that whole season, I was really invested, but I didn't want to like choose to become a Shadow of Callus because I did not actually trust the character. And then moving forward, like with Stasis, I don't actually use Stasis. I don't like it, and so when I go to turn in my Iron Banner tokens and Saladin's like lecturing me, I'm like, listen, dude, we're on the same side of this, man. I ain't doing it, okay? Like, I wish my choices in the game actually mattered. And same thing with like tying in the Shadow stuff. If maybe you got different dialogue when it's you doing the Glycon mission with Osiris as your handler and with Keitel, if that relationship would change, because she does talk about the shadows of Callus and the guardians that that chose to pledge their fealty to
I
Callus.
am Shadow. Like I have the Shadow the Shadow title equipped, and it's like I don't get any different dialogue. She's like, "Hey, random idiot." I'm like,
Hey, hey, don't
see
you
what I did?
don't you know me?
and conversely, maybe she should be more hostile towards you because she obviously abandoned her father, and you pledged fealty
she's
to
like,
him.
"Oh, Shadow, look who's tough, right?" Like,
Yeah,
It would be sweet.
Whereas your Callus now, he ran away. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, it would be sweet. Like you go up to, Saint 14 and he's like, oh, the flawless guy. Like he's kind of pumped up and it's like, you are a true battler. Like, I don't know. It'd be pretty sweet to see some of those things. If nothing else, though, if they could keep up the story beats and the dialogue between the characters, throw in some cutscenes, I mean, I'm definitely happy with that. As long as they're putting the story in front of us and not behind a lore book. I'm fine with lore books. I think that's really cool. But I think there's a lot of people, they want to see the action. They want to understand the action. They want it put in front of them and told, hi, I'm the bad guy and I'm going to fight this person. And they want that kind of obvious story. And if they can make it exciting long term, I think that's definitely a win.
Yep. They've got some really talented artists at Bungie. I mean, just incredibly talented artists there. I know that cutscenes are expensive. And it's hard to make cutscenes consistently that really deliver. So I mean, even with stuff like this whole Glycon stuff, because as we're getting the dialogue, we're uncovering what kind of happened there. It would be really cool if they could just even do like the still shots. Remember when you like first launched Destiny 1 and they had just the artwork and it was the narration that went over it and it was just still shots, but you sort of understood the history of Destiny and how you got to where you were, and it wasn't like a full animated cutscene. It was just really cool artwork. I would love to see artwork of Callus in his little bubble. You know what I'm saying?
That is literally like this week's cutscene, right? It's not a full-fledged 3D animation.
More of that.
It's a lot more like stylized, which is fine. It probably saved them a ton of money from doing like a normal cutscene. And it's like, I'm down. I don't care. It doesn't have to be like a perfect 3D render. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, like with the drawing on the scrolls type stuff where it kind of fills in. And didn't they do that with Bastion? Like something kind of similar. I can't quite remember.
Anyways, we should probably move on to the next topic. In fact, this was just our pregame topic. We got a lot to cover today. GameStop and Roblox. Yeah. Tash, you're the resident investor.
Take it away.
I'm an investor. So GameStop has rocketed again. They hit the circuit breakers, dropped again, and it has been an overall whirlwind, going up to like $340 a share, then down to $180, then back up to $260. It's been all over the place. There is some crazy hype behind it. And, a couple weeks ago, when DFV, like the initial guy, he said, I'm doubling down, picked up his position. A lot of people saw faith in that, and they're like, if he's going in, I'm going in. And it's kind of like
at like $40, and it was like $370 today.
Yeah, exactly. So some people made some big money.
People are becoming millionaires from memes, like
literally
millionaires.
And the funniest thing, I think one of the funniest thing is there's so many people that did buy really high before, and there's all these meme posts that are like, "Come back for me, brothers! Like don't forget about me! Like catch, like like bring me along the ride!" And then every time they kind of hit these milestones, it's like, "You came back for me, bro!" And they're like showing their portfolio, and like it finally turns green, even if it's just $1, and it's like, "We came back for you, bro!" And it's a whole, honestly, it's like a frat party of investing, culture. Right? It is. It's so insane, and
it's so funny to watch. But also in that same vein, Gamer Stonks Roblox went public today. So Roblox, you can now buy shares in Roblox, and hold on, let me check what it's at. It launched at
like 65 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it launched at 63, skyrocketed up to 74, and now it's settling at around it's $69 right now.
Nice.
Which
is interesting because that is like a pretty high share price for any video game company. Like if you're looking at EA, if you're looking at Activision Blizzard, that is a pretty juicy share price overall.
$69 is insane.
Mhm.
Me and Tash have been doing some investing on the tech dip, and like some of the companies like Neo, this like Chinese electric car company, like that has so much hype behind it. Like this is one of the bigger electric car companies, and obviously electric cars are bumping right now. $40 share price.
Right.
$40. There's like a company that's like gonna deliver or just did a merger to deliver the first like electric air vehicle. It's gonna be like air taxis, like little like it's basically an upsized drone that you can ride in. Crazy. $10 diverse share. Roblox is $69, bro. Like it's so this is actually pretty nuts that it's valued that highly. Like 69 70 $69 for that share price for Roblox. And it's like obviously because it just started, this could be an over evaluation and we could see it dip for sure, but it shows you like how powerful of a position and how much people believe in Roblox.
Sure.
Like
Right.
that like that game is incredibly popular, and I think a
if
lot
you
more
are
than
a-
people give credit for.
Oh yeah, if you're a parent in America, especially right now, you know what Roblox is. Because even if you don't have it for your kids are coming home and saying, my friends are talking about Roblox and they're playing Roblox, or they're on YouTube Kids app. And half the videos on YouTube Kids are people playing Roblox stuff and making Roblox content. So you know what Roblox is. I mean, as a dad, I hear my son all the time, can we get more Roblox stuff? I mean, Roblox, Dad, Roblox.
Yeah.
And so it's like you get all that hype from even just your kids. I can understand why a lot of people are like, I'm buying.
And I think a lot of people might not realize because maybe they've seen one little video or they've seen their kid playing one little game, but like they've got Halo 3 remakes in Roblox. They've got Counter-Strike remakes in Roblox, and not all of them are good, but like there's a Fortnite one, and it will have 15 to 20,000 people playing sometimes. I actually logged in and played it with Ben, and when I logged in, there was 15,000 people playing, and I'm like, bro, like that's bigger than some indie games, and that's just one.
That's PC Destiny PvP community.
Yeah, that's one little mini game in Roblox.
There's more people playing Roblox Fortnite than playing Trials on a good weekend on PC.
Right? It's insane. And you know, it's interesting because if you put it into context of other game companies, like Activision right now is like $90 a share. And like we've got Diablos coming out soon. We've had like World of Warcraft and like World of Warcraft expansions, World of Warcraft Classic, right? And you know, maybe Activision isn't popping off right now, but even when they still own Destiny for a bit, there was a point where it dropped down to $45, $44 a share. And it's like half of a Roblox. Like, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if it'll stay there.
That's insane.
But it's kind of crazy.
Hold on.
You're investing, aren't you? He's putting in the stock ticker. He's like, okay, I'm going to buy a Roblox.
I wanted to look up. So EA, the entire EA stock is 130, which is basically half of Roblox. So Roblox is valued at half of EA?
Right, and think about FIFA and like all the stuff that EA has, right?
Yeah.
Like they're making money. So we'll see where that goes.
They're not spending it on good development, but they're making money.
Hey, that's toxic.
Activision right now is $91. Activision Blizzard, remember they merged.
Yeah.
That is not that much for $20 more, like for $20 less. Like that's insane. So Roblox is what, 80%, valued at 80% of Activision plus Blizzard?
Right.
That's insane. That's insane.
No, actually, speaking of Blizzard and Activision, I feel like they have been a little bit slow lately. Other than some World of Warcraft stuff, I haven't seen anything too crazy. And you know, we're having Diablo 2 Resurrected. Diablo 4 is still probably pretty far off. Honestly, though, it looks like they've got a lot of animations and rigging done. Like it does seem like they've got some major progress in Diablo 4. But I'm wondering, what about Overwatch 2? You know, they've been talking about Overwatch 2 and stuff, and we've seen like a little bit of Overwatch 2, but I'm wondering, is Overwatch 2 going to be as big as the first one? Or is it going to be...
Has the time come and gone?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Overwatch is kind of an old IP now.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people that fell in love with that game, they fell out of love with it really hard. And is all this development time on Overwatch 2, is that going to like bring people back to Overwatch? I don't know, because people aren't playing it now, and obviously
people are playing it now. For the record, you're talking Global users, just under 10 million.
Overwatch? Maybe
Overwatch.
it's not getting streamed as much.
So
as that's part
end of 2020, they're sitting at 10 mil.
Right.
Active accounts.
Well, that's not too
Yeah,
bad.
but what does that mean? What's their concurrent users?
That's a good question. What their average concurrent player base?
Yeah, like the thing is, Overwatch is far from dead. We're not saying it's dead, but it's also far from when it was like popping. When Overwatch was popping, it was popping hard. Like it was the game.
It was like Fortnite big.
Yeah, and now it's like that. It's been literally years since that time, and it certainly has a dedicated fan base. But again, it's like one of those things where Overwatch, when they announced Overwatch 2, the hype for that, if it would have come out then, so much more than I think right now. Like just trends change. People are obviously gonna stop playing Overwatch and play other things and all that jazz. So will it really be this massive thing? I'm not sure. But
I think it'll be pretty big.
Speaking of massive things, today officially Xbox was approved by
I thought you were gonna use the massive things as a transition of talking about our sponsor.
So
I was like, no.
Xbox now officially owns Bethesda, which is like the craziest merger. That's our technical difficulty, by the way. Tash's super chat is just off for no reason.
I was wondering, and I don't. It's not a greed thing. Like you guys don't have to spend money on us, but I was like, you know what? We haven't gotten a donation in like a couple weeks, and I'm like, you know what? Is what it is. Like, is what it is. But they just kind of stopped. Probably when we, I don't know if everyone got the email, but a bunch of people got an email saying, "Hey, your monetization is turned off," and that was because we had to link up our AdSense account and do all this stuff. I think that it turned off all of our settings. So
we have to turn them all back on.
They're back on now. It looks like, but
money, please.
Yeah.
This is just the most professional podcast on the market, baby.
I mean, we're just doing it for fun, anyways, dude.
True. Anyways, so this is like an absolutely massive merger. Xbox now official, and this deal could have gone down in flames. Like it would have really, really, it would have really depended on these committees approving them, because they could have tried, and then it could have said, hey, this is too monopolistic, like we're not going to let you make this purchase. Like recently we had that with Disney buying 20th Century Fox. Like that deal was, it wasn't 100% that would end up going through. Anyways, this has gone through. So now with Xbox owning Bethesda officially, it could mean a lot. Now, apparently TVU is saying that Xbox was like, yeah, don't worry, we're not going to turn every Bethesda IP into an Xbox exclusive. But Xbox's biggest issue has always been games on it. Like the Xbox Series X. Right. Apparently it's a great console, but it's got like no games. And so let's imagine Fallout 5 comes out and it's an Xbox or Xbox and PC exclusive. That would be wild.
I'm telling you, man, I am such a hardcore fan of the Elder Scrolls series, and a little bit lesser so, but I'm a huge fan of the Fallout series. If they went Xbox exclusive, I mean, yeah, I'd probably play on PC, but
I think they already said if there are exclusives, it would be Xbox and PC, because anything on Xbox is always on PC now, because it's like it's Microsoft. So they put anything on Windows pretty much, because they can Xbox Game Pass is on PC as well. So
it's interesting.
It would be there.
Xbox exclusivity basically means like not PlayStation, because it's on Xbox and PC. It's like anywhere but those stupid Sony guys, right? It's kind of weird.
And Nintendo, because they have a toaster for a system that can't even run any games. But
we'll get into that after. Later.
Yeah, we'll get into that after.
But this is. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the thing too is, if you're looking at this purchase and you're looking at like the $7 billion or whatever it was, 7.5, we haven't had an Elder Scrolls in a while. Like, think of when Skyrim came out. It's been a long time. And so we're due for another Elder Scrolls, hopefully, soon here. And with that, time, think of how many more people have become gamers and have bought PCs and have gotten into gaming. Like, I feel like over time, everyone is really getting into gaming. And so I can imagine, the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be absolutely popping off with people playing it and checking it out. And if you look at all the different DLCs that Skyrim got in the modding community, right, there's a lot there that games like that, they thrive for a long time. And how many times have they sold Skyrim and the different editions and all these different things? So
same thing with GTA 5, man.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Skyrim
It never dies.
Skyrim Samsung Fridge Edition. Like, I swear, everything that can run Skyrim has Skyrim for it. Like, it's crazy.
I always remember that tweet. That he ended up taking it down. One of the leads, but someone had tweeted, "Would you guys please stop selling Skyrim?" And he quote tweeted it. And it was like, "If you guys want us to stop selling Skyrim, stop buying it every time we re-release it."
You know what? Speaking of re-releases, though, they're making another Final Fantasy VII remake and a remake of a remake, and it's like that. I feel like that horse is getting beat to death as well. How many times are they going to re-release Final Fantasy VII? But the same thing. It's like, well, stop buying it. Like we keep making it. You guys keep buying it and doing it. And I mean, it's good if you release games and re-release games and remaster games, because not everyone was around for N64, right? Not everyone played Ocarina of Time and things like that. So if you remake Ocarina of Time, people get to enjoy it.
I'll play devil's advocate. You could also argue, though, that it's like, if it's taking development time away from making the next leap forward in the franchise, that could be a little bit of a negative.
Oh,
right?
Of course. Of course it is. But these companies are in it for the money. They want to make money. And they know if they make the 5th Ocarina of Time remake, it's going to sell. It's going to sell well.
It's really interesting. Also, you got to think, the last few Bethesda games didn't turn out very well. Like you said, Skyrim has been, the next Elder Scrolls has been in development for a decade. Like, they've gone nowhere with that, right? Fallout 4 was not, received that well. Fallout 76, disaster, right? So there's certainly some problems going on at Bethesda. So could this Xbox purchase help or hurt more? It's always an interesting thing. Is Xbox going to interfere too much and take away the magic of the original Bethesda? Or is it going to be what, the kick in the pants that Todd Howard needs to be hey, bud, let's get it together.
They're giving him the defibrillator, come on, make a good game again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now,
for sure.
Our next topic here is wild. Twitch has not messed up this bad in a while. They had a couple, almost a month, I think, where Twitch didn't do anything dumb. And then they're like, boys, this is where we turn around. Now, before we get into that, let me tell you, we actually have, guys, the RGH podcast. We finally did it. We got a sponsor for the podcast that isn't Advanced GG. As you can see when you made a shirt. Oh, Manscaped, baby. That is right. Oh, we got the Manscaped Performance Package. Look at all these goodies. Now, here's the interesting part. You may be watching, and for our viewers listening, you may be going, wait a minute. All three of them have Manscaped products? Now, let me tell you an interesting little tidbit of information. Manscaped contacted all three of us. These two took it sponsorship for themselves, pocketed all the money. I was like, no, I'm not going to accept the sponsorship unless you guys do it on the podcast, so we can have some legitimacy for the podcast for the boys.
Listen.
The truth is that Kackis is so terrified of his own community. He's so scared to do something like this on his own channel. That's the truth. I went for it, man. I was like, I'm just going to go balls to the wall with this thing, man.
Speaking of balls to the wall, my balls have never been smoother either. So make sure you buy some Manscaped.
I got a weekend getaway plan. Let me tell you, the wife is beaming. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Things are prepared, buddy. Now let me just tell you a little bit about Manscaped. So, like we said, Manscaped reached out. They looked at these two, barely have passed puberty, and they looked at me and they said, "This is the spokesperson we want for our brand." So let me tell you a little bit about Manscaped and the performance package, right? There's a lot in here. So firstly, we got the Weed Whacker. Now, this is a nose and ear hair trimmer, right? I don't got a ton of nose and ear hair, but my grandfather does, and my dad's getting it. It's a ticking time bomb. Tash has got these nose whiskers, dude, so I'm very glad they sent it to him. But here's the important thing. Waterproof, 900 RPM, 360 degree dual blade system. All right, it has skin safe technology, so it's not going to like rip up your nose or ears. Don't worry about that. And here's the crazy part. 79% of partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a big turnoff, and the other 20% were lying. Let me tell you, because no one wants long nose hair. If you got nose hair, like, just do yourself a favor, get this. Your life will be better. Now, that's just one part of the performance package. Let me tell you one thing. Other is Lawnmower 3.0. This thing is actually fire. Now, listen. I'm actually going to close the talking points right now. This is straight from the heart. Okay, this thing's actually really good. If you're
LED light, everything's illuminated.
It has
by
a
the way.
light. You
So
wouldn't
nice.
expect that to matter until you have
It matters
right?
a
A
lot.
lot of you guys listening probably have the like crappy one that you bought at like the drugstore, right? This random shaver. Let me tell you, you don't know what you're missing out until you get a quality one. We're talking full waterproof. We're talking it's got a
Use it
little
in the shower
attachment that you can put on to adjust the length and all this stuff. Absolutely phenomenal. Also, it comes with some products. We got the ball toner and the ball deodorant. All right, so you can, after you shave, you can really kind of juice things up. You can really kind of get it so that you're not feeling bad after. You're not getting itchy. It's revitalized. Let me tell you, it's
Listen,
like
nuts
planting
stink, man.
a crop
They
of
do.
gold. All right.
All right.
And this is something that no, it actually is a fantastic product. If you're a dude, if you don't have a good razor, especially this whole package, it comes with a lot of good stuff. All right.
Truthfully, I purchased that whole package, and then they sent me one for the plug. I talked about that in my plug. I was like, I got two of them now, guys.
Yeah.
Didn't you use my code because my
I used your code on my first one, yeah.
advertisement was so good that he's like, I have to.
Now,
I have to.
well, speaking of that,
That's exactly right.
So you've got the Weed Whacker, you've got the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer, you've got the Crop Preserver, you've got a little travel bag too. They got in here.
Yeah,
Like,
they
look
call
at
it the
this
shed
leather
to put your
travel bag.
tools in.
So
Yeah.
convenient. Now listen, and every 3 months they're gonna send you a replaceable blade for your Weed Whacker. Now, for your lawnmower or your
Lawnmower,
weed whacking and lawn mowing care. Now listen, they looked at all three again. They looked at all three of us, and they knew who wanted to represent the brand. So, if you want to get 20% off and free shipping for the podcast, you use code KackisHD20, baby. That's that podcast code, because they looked at us and they said, we're not going to have code RGH because there's only one person man enough to represent our brand here, truly, and that's KackisHD. So KackisHD20, and you can just click in the description. There's a link.
I put it there in the chat too.
And there we go.
Now, are you
And
gonna?
that wraps up our 10-minute plug.
Yeah, are you gonna pay us for that? I mean, that was almost as long as one of your intros. But I'm wondering, like, are you gonna pay us for that, or?
Listen,
I
talking.
literally soloed Crota twice while he was doing that.
Yeah, seriously,
Oh
what
my
the
God.
hell? This
Listen,
is easy.
It's because I'm passionate about it. And also, yeah, you know what? That's crazy. So you guys got your own Manscaped ads, paid yourself. Now I gotta pay you. No,
Yeah.
I gotta pay you.
Well,
for
here's the
ads.
thing. You keep saying like, oh, we want you. The only reason they agreed to sponsor you is because they knew we would be in it. Like that's
They
Oh,
already did it with us.
yeah.
They're like, we know these guys
They're
are
like-
quality.
They're like the only
roll the dice on
reason
this
we're
guy.
doing with you is because of the other.
Think about it this way. Not only could you have a fantastic male grooming product, but if you use code KackisHD20, you're not only supporting me, you're screwing over these two dinguses. So that is could you imagine if everyone just uses my code and not these guys' code, even though they did the individual greedy sponsorships and I did the one for all of us?
Come on.
That would be
All
that
right.
was
At this
funny.
point, you're just being a troll. So let's talk about Twitch trolls.
Oh.
Twitch, the absolute brain children that they are, decided, do you know what? We want to give trolls on Twitch even more power. We want to make sure that they can not only get banned from chat, but also they can get their message seen by everyone at zero cost to them. So what they've done is, if you try to cancel your subscription within 10 minutes, one of the choices for, hey, why are you canceling? Was this a mistake? There's a couple like that. Hey, I made a mistake. Oh, I can't actually afford this. My kid entered my credit card information. The next one is, honestly, I just wanted to troll and get a shout out. You can cancel your subscription.
See my name on the stream.
Yeah, I just wanted to see my name on the screen. And so people, especially if they've got like text to chat or whatever you call it, like text to voice or whatever the hell it's called, they can type out a message, get everyone to hear it, and then they're like, oh, by the way, I'm not actually giving you the money. And, that causes a lot of problems because these idiots can be typing in chat and getting banned and doing racist things and whatever. But now they can have even more visibility on the stream for free, essentially. And, I don't know how they fix this at this point. They'd have to turn that feature off, but I know that it's going to get abused in a ton of people's streams. You're muted.
Beyond.
You are me. Oh, there you go.
Now you're good.
No,
you were.
But for real, your first couple of words did not come through. But go ahead.
This is beyond crazy. Like, I actually read this and I was like, I can't believe it's a thing, because like, this is so bad for streamers. So bad for streamers, because here's why. Essentially, like, what happens is that people will do chargebacks all the time. So they pay with PayPal, right, for a subscription, for a donation, to get a shout out. And then sometimes, like, if the streamer misses it, like it happens to like someone like Pokimane has talked about like thousands of dollar donations, but people, like, it's so crazy on those really popular streams that they miss it, people will charge it back, which is like kind of a fee and a process for the person getting that payment. So that's, people already have to deal with that crap all the time. Now you can just sub to someone, get a shout out, and then immediately cancel in 10 minutes. Right? And it's like, everyone's going to do that. People already actually pay and go through the trouble of doing a PayPal chargeback, and now they can just instantly cancel it in like the 10 minutes. And also, like you said, this enables really, really bad trolling. Like, especially again, if you have text to chat, if you have stuff pop up on screen, right? People will go and say racist, horrible, sexist things in chats, and they're like okay with getting banned, right? They're just doing it to antagonize people because they, in their junior high classroom, they think it's cool, right? But now they can subscribe so that everyone sees the little message. It's even worse, and then they don't even lose a penny for it.
Well, and think about even like if you've got audio where it's just like mine is like, hey, do you got a brand new sub? But if like, even 100 people over the course of a stream were to sub and then return it, that alert is going, hey, got a brand new sub. Hey, got a brand, like, it's annoying. I can only imagine Nick Merckx getting this freaking thing going up on the screen. It would be constant because of all these kids doing it. So text to speech is going to be a problem for sure. And I don't know how they would remedy this other than turning it off.
I wouldn't do text to speech ever.
No,
I would never do.
I just don't trust it.
Don't even touch that.
Yeah.
Because like
it's
there's
just asking
some
for problems.
Hilarious moments that comes from text to speech.
Yeah.
Right?
There is.
Like some huge stream highlights that go viral because of text to speech. But then some loser comes along and ruins it for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you could be liable for it too. Like, you can get banned if you don't shut that stuff down, and if it happens, and that's
you can get banned for other people saying, like, for example, racist stuff that if it's popping up on your screen and reading it out on your screen. It's like people can basically do that and get you banned. Like, because Twitch, obviously, we've talked about Twitch bans. It's basically, a monkey like smashing stuff with a mouse. Like, it's absolute ineptitude like you wouldn't believe. And now you've thrown another wrench into the mix. Like, it is so problematic. It's crazy.
Now Twitch is breaking.
They're all
Go.
I was gonna say they're all gonna get banned. I mean, anybody who does that is gonna instantly get banned by mod squads and mod teams, or the streamer. If it's a smaller streamer, they can handle that. So it's not like it's not gonna perpetuate itself for too long, I don't think. But yeah, it could lead to some pretty frustrating moments.
Mhm.
But like, I think you're underselling it a bit because like here's the problem. You know, people will already say horrible things in chat, get banned, make a new account, and say it again, right?
Well, yeah, but what you do is there's different ways. So Twitch streamers can actually set it up so that the only people that are allowed to talk or sub and donate have to actually have a linked email address as well.
Okay.
So they would have to go through the process of, okay, now I got to go to Google and make a brand new address and verify that address, and then I got to make a new Twitch account and link up that brand new burner email. You know what I mean? So you can make it so that it's at least a lot more work for the troll. So you can kind of test their commitment. You know what I'm saying? But they can't just like spam. They got to go through all these different processes to get to the point where they can do it again.
The big streamers who have that enabled who know about that, right? It's like if you're just starting, if you're
who doesn't know about that? I knew about that
it's like
5 years ago when I was streaming on Twitch.
Hold on. If you're some trials grinder, you know what I mean? You got 100 viewers or 50 viewers, right? And you probably have text to speech. Like those are the people that you're gonna like. It's just like,
listen, I firmly believe at this point, if you plan to make a career out of this, you plan to make money off of this business, you got to educate yourself. It's that simple. You got to educate. You need to be informed. How do I protect myself, protect my brand? A lot of people don't take that stuff seriously until it's too late, and they get burned by it.
But like,
so I can't stress that enough.
Why now put it on the streamers to think about all this stuff? Why can't Twitch take some initiative and say, no, like that's not a valid reason, is that you wanted like validation on stream and like some, I don't know, that's such a trolly thing to enable.
Yeah, like you might as well put on like, I subbed because I thought the streamer would fall in love with me, but they didn't. Like, you know, like, okay, I don't know.
I understand I understand it's a hassle, but here's the thing. Streaming in general, if you plan on actually developing a community and pulling in big viewership, you have to understand the risks, and you have to understand that you will absolutely receive hate consistently, deliberately, time and time again. And you have to have the tools to deal with that if you plan to actually make capital in this industry. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you both. When was the last time you dealt with someone's bullcrap in this line of work? The freaking day, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't really look that hard today, so
like you gotta know, and you gotta be prepared. And so yes, Twitch can do a better job of protecting streamers, but on the flip side of that, people need to be prepared if they plan to make capital on this.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell the story in the after hours portion, actually. But so I just think it's just something that, like, it's just something that Twitch should have thought about. Like, this is going to negatively impact streamers unless they have a really good mod team. Not everyone has a really good mod team, right? To be able to, like you said, ban those people who are abusing that system.
I mean,
like, it's just...
They've got a lot of problems. I was playing Outriders, and during the demo, a song came on. I was like, oh, I think I might get DMCA'd for this. You know, like there's so many problems that at this point, it's just like holding a hand grenade. Am I going to get banned today? I don't know what it'll be, but it's pretty sus. Twitch breaks records for stupidity. But do you know who else is breaking records? Apex Legends. Apex Legends broke their highest concurrent player base recently, which is crazy.
215,000 peak players on Steam alone. Now, that is excluding their console gamer base as well. And it's now on the Switch. So PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC. Their community is booming.
Yeah.
And the thing that's baffling about it, did anything new or crazy happen? I mean, no, not really.
A month ago.
They added a new POI. They added caustic treatment plant to the map in Kings Canyon, which is just one of their 3 maps, right? There's 2 in rotation this season between Kings Canyon and Olympus, which is a relatively new map. But Kings Canyon got a new POI. Other than that, it's really no different. They have some new voiceover lines that kind of ties into the lore and the story. And like just a new mechanic of just little tiny rings of death that pop up around the map. But it's really nothing brand new or crazy other than the new POI, which is kind of interesting. But they actively support their game. And they're constantly releasing like new skins. I actually tweeted about this today. They do not go halvesies on their skins. Like they go balls to the wall in those skins. They look phenomenal. Their artists do just an incredible job with that. And they have a new sandbox update. They are constantly updating the meta in that game. I mean, Fortnite had this where it was like for the longest time, right? Pump shotguns, double pumps. Remember that whole season? It took them forever to actually like rotate new things in, change and shake up the meta. Apex is just constantly doing that. Oh, we hear you guys. The Mastiff is like, it's a must-have right now. So what do? Nerf the damage on that. We're going to pump up some other numbers. We're going to introduce some new hop-ups into the season. You know, it's just constantly rotating how the game actually plays out, and the community responds to it, and their numbers reflect that. They actively support their game.
And something interesting is like the numbers are like this, right? They're just like going up. It's not like Destiny numbers actually were equal to this, but it's on new releases. It's like Beyond Light
spike down.
It's like that, and it's
the very next month, bam! It's a sharp decline
to the ground. Like Apex Legends is slowly growing, and it's like that's crazy, and it shows free to play PvP game. So is Destiny, dude. So is Destiny. Why aren't we getting 250,000 people just for PvP? Because it's in a horrible state right now, and it kind of shows like, hey, maybe the time to like take 6 months to try to balance the game perfectly, it's just not going to happen. Like these quick, like you said, these quick meta adjustments to constantly keep the game fresh, that's the way to go.
But also think like if you're a brand new player who's like, hey, I've heard Destiny's great, and you jump in and you've got your blue guns, and you're getting shit on. You're getting shit on by 120 god ruled hand cannons. Like you're not gonna have a good time. You're not gonna have a good time. But even then, you're like, well, how is that hunter jumping so high and moving so fast? And how is that warlock dashes? Like there's so many things in the game that I think are not obvious to start, but also like to get into Destiny and to get into PvP and be at a competitive spot. It's kind of tough. You got to play a lot of PvE and you got to do a lot of leveling. You do a lot of different things. And I think that's one thing is, honestly, if there was just like a PvP only, like well-balanced Destiny game, I'm sure it would kick ass. But with the PvE aspects and what it requires to get into the game, it's one of those games that it has incredible movement. It has incredible gunplay.
It's fantastic.
But it just doesn't have accessibility, in my opinion. And when you look at Apex, it has really good shooting and movement. That was one of the things that people praised is it's like Titanfall movement. Really, really, really good movement. Yeah. And
that's the thing. Destiny could be right there on the PvP side alone. Collectively, entire community Steam charts for Destiny right now is like, let me get this right. I think it's about a fifth of the overall PC player base for Apex. So Apex, PvP alone, Battle Royale, and Destiny's full community, not just PvP, full community on Steam is roughly a fifth of Apex's right now on Steam charts. I think Destiny's PvP alone could be a competitor with Apex for concurrent average players if they supported it as actively as as Respawn supports Apex Legends. I really do, because like you said, Destiny with Bungie's team, Bungie's history, their gunplay is absolutely phenomenal. Their movement, absolutely phenomenal. And these things, they just get swallowed up in, especially the current season. Stasis takes away your movement and it overwrites your gun skill. And so they're like two best features of their game get completely overshadowed by Stasis right now. I think if they were just, don't tell me they don't have the capital, and don't tell me they don't have the manpower. They had the capital to double their studio, you know?
Yeah, almost triple it.
Like, bro, someone just needs to make the choice to say, listen, we have said it's going to be a priority, but we have no new maps to show for it. We have sandbox updates that are so spaced out that people just get absolutely livid with the current state of things and leave before we ever do anything to shake it up. It's gotta be more consistent.
I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Even if they do commit, and even if they do balance changes, can they actually do that though? Could they actually compete? Because they do have the movement and they do have the gunplay. But even if they balance it, who's gonna jump in and ignite that fire in people and be like, "Oh, this game is sick"?
You cannot count
Summit is not,
out.
but like Summit's not coming back to play it and try it. Dr. Disrespect's not coming back and playing it.
You
They
can't
hear
count
it's
out
good,
some
they
of the
might.
major
No, what?
Destiny PvP
There's
guys.
no way. They're not going to
Man,
do it. They're not going to do it
Jake pulls in incredible numbers.
for
Right.
a Destiny
He-
audience, though. What I'm
For a
saying
Destiny audience,
is
sure.
the
But even
widespread
he's-
people aren't going to know.
I'm using him as a case study, though. Even he has transitioned into, like, even today, he did Apex Legends.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's even to the point where he's like, do we do some other stuff? But he's not the first. Okay? We lost Crafty. We lost Lupo. We lost, some major players that pulled in a ton of interest. And you can't count out the influence of these huge creators.
Yep.
I mean, if TSM Crafty comes back to playing this game full time and revive, I mean, there's people who have been disinterested in Destiny for years, and if they see Crafty, their guy that they went to every single weekend, that nostalgia kicks in. If we've learned anything from the gaming community, is that nostalgia sells. You see these guys coming back, you're like, I'll check it out. I'll watch a stream, man. Like the good old days of watching Crafty play some trials, and then you're watching, you're like, bro, this is actually looking pretty good. It's free to play.
That's
I may
true.
as well install it.
That's the thing. It's like it's poised to Destiny is poised to blow up. It's just got to be good again, right? And I mean, PVE wise, this season not so bad, right? With battlegrounds and so on, and the weapons and so on. But like, yeah, Apex is smashing because they just have a really responsive dev team that's really passionate about their game. And I'm not saying Destiny isn't. I'm not saying Bungie isn't passionate, but maybe part of Bungie isn't passionate. The part that seems to be really focusing on this new IP that they're constantly talking about. We're going to get a new IP, or why don't you focus on your current IP that's funding your tripling of your studio clearly, but the players are like dying for content. It's like you're going to have to like I hope Bungie sees the potential in Destiny that like I see, and that I'm sure TV and even Tash you see. Like there's potential there. They just got to believe in their dang game. It almost feels like sometimes when you read, it's like, oh, we're looking at like a new IP, new IPs. It's like, are they looking for an out? Are they like done with Destiny? Like, probably not, because they hired so many people onto Destiny. But it's like, you really need to give it the attention it deserves and needs.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is a movement time, with COVID and moving the studios. Maybe it's just like a lull, and maybe it starts kicking ass long term. And I think that's
Hope
what
so.
we all hope for. But let's
Yeah,
move on.
At the top level, Luke Smith is and Noseworthy are out. Not out, but they're focusing on alternative media. So like you said, a PvP only, like what if they just did like a Destiny brand? Like they own the Destiny IP. So Destiny Legends, like Apex Legends, Destiny Legends, dude. And you play Saint 14 and it's PvP only, and there's no random rolls. You pick your weapons or whatever. And that's it. And that's the that's the pure PvP Destiny. It's a different game. What if they did that?
Could. They got the lore, they got all the models, right?
Mm-hmm.
Destiny 2 Legends. I'll take 1% royalties, Bungie. That's
and do like Destiny StarCraft as well.
But
like
dude, that
Halo
would pop.
Wars.
Imagine like not battle royale, right? But you pick your character. You can pick Saint 14. You can pick Osiris. You can pick Zavala, right? You can pick Eris. You can pick your character, right? They have like maybe they all have one ability, right? Or like it's a grenade, or it's whatever, or it's like a really weak version of a super, but it takes forever to charge. I don't know.
No,
Make it happen.
Listen.
And then you don't have to worry about random rolls.
Diablo Destiny. You're running around as Zavala with a sword and have a Fist of Havocing. I mean,
call it Destiny: The Golden Age, and you go and all these different planets, right? And
maybe.
You go and it's all about getting treasure, getting that Golden Age treasure and tech.
Maybe.
I've actually, okay. I know. I'm maybe get crucified for this. I've actually thought so many times, as somebody who still really enjoys a really well developed and fleshed out battle royale, man, how cool would it be to have a class based battle royale in the Destiny universe where you're like, I'm gonna play as as this fallen captain, right? Or maybe it's a Kel, a named Kel from the lore, and you've got his whole loadout, his abilities. Captains can do that little teleport thing. They've got their swords for up close. They got the shotgun for, you know what I'm saying? Or you could play as a Hive Knight, or you could play, you know what I'm saying? Like that would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd be down with it.
I'd give it a shot.
All right,
We'll see.
let's talk about Nintendo. There's been some leaks going on about a Nintendo Switch Pro that will actually be able to run video games at above 4 FPS. But there's also some kind of drama along with that too. If some of the rumors are correct.
There, you spaz. Let's just chill for a second. So the rumor is that there will be like Nintendo Switch Pro, right? And it's gonna potentially feature a 7-inch 720p Samsung OLED screen and offer 4K when docked. And especially a lot of people have 4K TVs, so being able to like dock it and then get that experience, that's sweet, right? But why are we calling it a new console? Like, is this just clickbait? Like, what's going on here? Well, here's the interesting part. Along with this, there's another big rumor that the Nintendo Switch Pro will get exclusive games that won't be able to run on the older Nintendo Switch, right? And if that is true, that's absolutely crazy because, like Tash said, right? What's the Nintendo Switch's biggest problem? It's an extremely weak console, right? It cannot handle a lot. So getting a much needed upgrade unlocks a lot of possibilities, especially for like ports over for other games. But so you kind of have this weird area of like, you unlock a bunch of options for now new games to port over, especially, but then they wouldn't be backwards compatible. Right. And so is the Nintendo Switch Pro almost going to feel like a new console? If it has like exclusive games and everything, like wouldn't it just be a new console?
At that point, if you're replacing the hardware, you've got titles that are exclusive to it. Yeah, it's a new console at that point.
Yeah.
They kind of need it. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, even a game as simple as Minecraft on the current Switch, I mean, it's rough. There's times where you're like, you run into the next sort of like section, and you're standing there with a literal empty skybox. You just see nothing. You don't. Yeah. And you gotta wait like 30 seconds or whatever for it's gonna load in like brick by brick. It's like, man, Minecraft is so simple, and you can't even keep up with me moving ahead in the world. It makes exploration sometimes a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, even some of like the UI loading in some games I've played, it's like really like it's chugging to open my menu up. Like that's not really acceptable. And one of the ones I noticed was with Mega Man, the new Mega Man game. Like on some of the maps, like you gotta have pretty pinpoint perfect jumps, and there's like projectiles flying at you, and like you're getting a little bit of chugging in the FPS, and it's like, bro, if I mess up one time, I die here. And I like the jump is like, it's like it's like do or die, and I'm getting 12 FPS for a couple seconds, and it's like, brother, that is not fun. That is really, really frustrating to play with. So
and so like it's kind of weird. Like, so if they're making this Pro version of the Nintendo Switch and it's getting exclusivity, it's like, why not maybe just commit and make and call it a new console, Nintendo Switch 2 or something. Yeah. I don't know, like. Give it even more upgrades, because it's like they're trying. I feel like if Nintendo does this, they're trying to like split the difference, right? They're going to be like, no, it's not a totally new console, because if it was, like, if they were like, it is Nintendo Switch 2, we're treating this as a new console, their current console sales would plummet. Obviously, people would be looking to get rid of their current Switches, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're trying to play the middle ground here. It's like we have a much needed upgrade. But if we do have a new console, people maybe expect like more, right?
Right.
But it has some of the downsides of like that exclusivity of being like a new console. Like if that's true and it comes out and there's games that can only run on the Pro version, that is pretty crazy.
It's just like they just upgraded their internet or their game servers and stuff. Yeah. But it's like, how good are those really? And it's like the console really is dated. And it feels like they're always behind on tech. And at some point, I wonder, people love Mario and they love all the different games and the IPs that are there. But like, you got to get your games running well. You got to be
That's
able
right.
to also, expand with the times. And you have these games like Breath of the Wild and eventually Breath of the Wild 2. And it's like it has to run well. It can't be 20 FPS, 24 or
Yeah.
23 FPS on some of these cutscenes and some of these
Right.
big moments. And are people going to eventually, I'm not saying right now, but eventually, as we keep pushing into next gen, as we start getting these 3080 and 3090, graphics cards, are they looking at Nintendo like, no, I just can't do it anymore? It's just they're not progressing fast enough. And
Yep.
I'm wondering, would it make sense? Obviously, like Nintendo wants to keep things exclusive, but like if they don't start bringing up that tech and people are really into the 4K and like the high FPS, like can they compete long term if they don't start moving some of their games maybe even onto PC? If they don't start,
Right? Like
I
Nintendo
don't know.
consoles have always had a gimmick, right? Like the Wii U,
Yeah.
the Switch. It's always like a gimmick. And the gimmick makes them sell unbelievably well to the casual audience, right? Like how
Mhm.
many people do you know that don't usually play video games had a Wii? Everybody. Like your aunt had
Yeah.
it, right? Your grandma had it. It's like
My
everyone had a Wii.
in-laws still
Yeah.
play the Wii.
Yeah.
I
Exactly,
kid you
right?
not.
The casuals love that stuff. They see that gimmick and they're like blown away by it, right? And it is nothing necessarily wrong with that. Obviously, Nintendo has gotten tons of sales because of that. But when we're talking about like, as soon as you start to get a little bit more into gaming and you start to expect a little bit more out of your games, those gimmicks start to get almost like in the way, right? Like you're trying to play Call of Duty on the Wii, like trying to be hitting those headshots on the Wii, like good luck, dude, right? So if you look at like serious gaming in terms of like where people are playing Warzone and stuff, it's PC, maybe a little bit consoles, but like it is kind of that interesting thing where you guys are talking like Tash, you're talking about it like, oh, they should adapt more to allow for serious gaming, but maybe Nintendo's like, we don't give a crap. They've kind of shown they don't give a crap about the serious gamer.
Yeah.
We are for the casual gamer. We're not for the serious gamer,
True.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like maybe that's just their business model.
They need just enough to run games like Animal Crossing,
Yep.
Honestly, and like even the female audience, like I know that a lot of the games, like maybe they're building stuff tailored towards that a little bit, and
But it's like,
I don't know, young kids, they're not playing shooting games, right?
but it's interesting because like you have that audience and it's like they kind of get into gaming because of that, but then it like they start to expect more. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh wait, I can go and play Skyrim from 10 years ago and it's way more in depth than Animal Crossing, or I can go and do whatever. Like Temtem, the mechanics and stuff in Temtem are far beyond what Pokemon is offering, especially like Pokemon is dumbing down as of recently,
Mhm.
often. So it is like a very interesting like thing of what Nintendo does. Do they allow for more hardcore experiences? Are they going to allow for the power to run better games, or are they just going to like stick to the gimmicks, right? Stick to the casual audience that has served them very well.
Here's the thing: is like, did you guys see the trailer for the new like open world looking Pokemon? It was dropping frames in the trailer. Like,
That's rough.
like, are you kidding me, dude? The trailer can't even run the game properly. Like, that is
Yeah.
scary. This is something that people have been wanting forever, is like a Breath of the Wild Pokemon, and you're chugging along trying to catch that like Growlithe, and that is not really okay in 2020
But
for
maybe
gaming. 2021. I don't know.
Maybe like that's going to be one of the games that can only go on the Switch Pro. Like
That's
maybe
true.
they're like making it and they're like we can't do this. Like we're going to get roasted if we need an upgrade,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So,
Yeah, we'll see.
and one more thing though, like really you got to think, what does it mean by like run on, right? Because it's like it could end up being like a Cyberpunk thing where it's a decent experience on the Switch Pro, and you can technically use the original Switch, but it's like Cyberpunk on original PS4, where it's like a horrible experience,
Yeah.
and it's playable, but it's not really playable. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I
Yeah.
got you. I got you.
So that could be a problem too.
That's pretty much it for the main topics, though, today. If you guys have not followed and subscribed to the podcast yet, make sure you do that. Click the notification bell.
We're like 50 subs away from 20,000 on YouTube. So thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, we're right
Appreciate
on
that.
the cusp. Put us over today. If you guys haven't pressed the sub button, put us over 20,000 today. I'll kiss your lips.
And while you're down pressing the sub button, you can click on that Manscaped link for that performance package, baby. You got
Are they paying double for
wacky.
another ad
Hey.
read? Are they paying double for another ad read here?
Listen, I'm doing these ads. I'm doing the shilling for the podcast, for the boys. I'm trying to support us all. I'm trying to get us a team house in Hawaii, which is going to happen. All right? It's gonna be amazing.
Honestly, you must have learned all this shilling from me because you're getting pretty good at it. I'm telling you.
I watched a couple. I just click on a random Mtashed video. Everyone I click has a sponsorship, so I know that I can get a good example of shilling in that video.
Yeah,
you know,
pretty much. This was episode 28 of the RGH podcast. Every Wednesday night we do this at 9 p.m. Eastern time, but we're not quite done just yet. We've got a couple more minutes of chitting and chatting with the chat, if you guys are curious. We call this RGH After Dark, and we talk about all things.
dude, we should 100% get a little like transition that's like RGH After Dark. That'd actually be fire.
And then we get like a little whiskey and there's a barrel.
Yeah,
and we all sit on.
I got a head start on you there.
Yeah. Oh,
I like it.
it's TV. We're never gonna be able to catch up to you. So,
You got years.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about 20 years behind.
So if you guys have any questions in the chat, rattle them off, and we will try to answer them the best we can.
We had a number of donations today too, which we genuinely appreciate. Thank y'all.
Let me read those out. We got Steven Mendoza with a $2. And then another $2, right, and then a $3, and then a $4, and then another $4. He's popping off. It's going up. And then $1 million. Oh no, sorry. It's not $1 million. He said, I got the KackisHD Millie sweater. He got the Millie package. That's
the hoodie.
The Millie Club hoodie. There's only 200, and there's not like we're talking not a lot left. So if you want that Millie Club hoodie, I don't want to plug my own stuff, but I'm just saying for anyone like thinking about it, you gotta do it now.
Where do they find the link to that?
Just go to one of my recent videos. I'm not gonna plug it too hard. It's easy to find. You'll find it
it's
on
the after show, man. Just do it.
Okay. We got $2 donation from from John Steele. He put hashtag KHD 1 mil from John Steele. White Bishop 89 with a $20 donation. Thank you so much. Keep it up, guys. We got D Mendez. TV made my wife make me buy Manscaped. D Mendez with a 10. $5 from D Mendez. TV took all my money and invested all my money into GME. Or no. Oh, TV took all my money and I invested all my money in GME. And then we got another one for $2. What is in the glass? From Steve Mendoza. TV,
all right,
what are you
I'll answer that question. Nicholas, by the way, yes, I do play PS5 almost exclusively. I still play a ton of PC, but that's just my own personal. In the glass, same thing as last week. I don't go through a bottle in a week, so I'm still sipping on this. This is Traverse City whiskey. This is their barrel-proof whiskey, so it's got all that oaky flavor in it.
Right. I love when it's barrel-proof. Like,
don't give me that look, Kackis. I had to listen to you talk about your nuts for 2 minutes straight. All right.
Did you like
benefit from their smoothness as well as my wife? Just so you know, wait till we get together. All right. Someone asks a good question. Jason says, any thoughts on the unavailability of the new NVIDIA graphics cards? Yeah, so that's still going on. I think we talked about it. It's a really interesting topic that I think Europe is looking into actual legal precedents and legislation to limit scalping, right? And that's one of the biggest reasons why the NVIDIA graphics cards are unavailable is because the scalpers snatch them up as soon as they go on sale.
Right. But also it's still? You can't get you still don't have enough stock? Widespread stock, even in stores? You can't go into a Best Buy and just get a graphics card? It just seems...
It seems like they were ill-prepared.
So limited.
But is Best Buy ordering them? In a sense of a lot of Best Buys are shut down right now, and they are running at very limited capacity. So normally you would be able to walk into a store, but I don't think these stores are ordering the graphics cards, and PS4 is going through the same issue. I don't think Best Buy is sending as many PS4s to the stores as they normally would. They're trying to do the sales online, and they're getting scalped.
Gotcha.
We don't have we have a bigger than normal scalping issue because most of or way more sales than usual are occurring online.
That's true.
Or not. I don't know. You guys are just looking at your phones. We're in the
Well,
middle of a podcast
I'm
here.
I'm
I'm looking
reading.
at my phone.
I'm
reading
reading.
chat. Cool your jets, bro.
What is a better flavor? Mtashed Mango Splash or the new Cactus one? They're both great. No, he
I'm
has.
gonna be 100% real with you guys. I basically only drink Frostbolt's flavor because it's way better than these guys.
Hey Siri, how do you remove a podcast host?
Clown even has any of our flavors, dude. He just uses the one they sent him, and he's like, "Oh, this is the best one because it's the only one I got for
in
free."
my cabinet, I've got Mtashed Mango Splash. I got Frostbolt's berry. I got Triple Wreck berry. I've got the dragon fruit. Is it dragon fruit kiwi? Dragon fruit kiwi? It's one of their old
Acai berry?
school flavors. It's
Oh.
not bad. Acai? What the?
Acai or whatever. Sorry.
You know what? Can't pronounce things. Don't make fun of them. We got a $5 donation from White Lotus Chief. Thank you so much for the $5. Appreciate it.
So you don't have my flavors, what you're saying?
I don't
guess
have
that's
yours
why
yet.
you think
I
Frostbolt
would
stand
no,
a chance.
Truthfully, it does sound good. I need to order a tub of it.
Demand for gaming has increased hugely. That's another good point, and especially since people are kind of like a lot of people are making like custom rigs now. For like back in the day, not even that long, like not that many years ago, who was making like custom rigs? Not many people. And now there's a bunch of like companies like Power GPU and I got mine from what is it called? Evolve PCs. Yeah. Well, they'll assemble it for you and ship it to you. So if you're not comfortable with like putting everything together yourself, you have that option too.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing too is the jump up in the 3080 and the 3090 from the 2080 is nuts. Like it's twice as good for half the cost. So I can imagine why they're selling out and people are doing whatever they can to get them, right?
They almost made like too good of a product at too good of a price point, right? And everyone wants one.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like I have like a PC sponsorship and they're just like, yeah, like we can't like do it yet because we just like don't have stock. And it's like, all right, okay, I'll just keep waiting.
You have a sponsorship? What a shock.
Yeah. Well, of course. Store my life.
Let me tell you,
chomping at the bit to partner with you.
You even have enough videos left to put sponsorships in.
No, I don't. I have to like start coming up with better ideas.
And someone did ask
Genshin's
about emotes.
dead. So
I heard it was like getting a big update soon though.
1.4 next week, but that's a week away. So that's literally a full week. I might be dead by then.
Someone was asking about emotes. Yeah, most of them are done. We just gotta get them uploaded. But yeah, we got like you'll be getting your hands on Kackis's little interrupt. Like, excuse me, I have something more important to say. But yeah, most of these are done and ready to go. Let me show you this one. This one looks fantastic because that whiskey tumbler is immaculate. Wait for it to focus.
That is
look
nice.
at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that nice? We got a juicy drama emote coming your way. We got all kinds of stuff. So
you got a juicy drama emote?
Yeah, we got juicy drama.
Let's see it. Or is that still coming?
It's a combo one.
Oh,
okay. It's the words, right? Juicy and drama, and they're kind of dripping like juice. Yeah, look good.
And then there's one of me just flexing, but you can't really tell because it's like it's a stick figure.
It's a skeleton. It's a skeleton.
It actually dips down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's invisible.
It's like the SpongeBob flexing when it's like bones.
Mtashed, do you think that Genshin Impact can become more popular than before? No, I don't. I think that new regions and stuff will be good, but I think a lot of the magic of the game is in the first 20 to 30 hours, and I don't know if I don't think they can recapture it unless they add some crazy end game long term. I just don't think that they can secure it. And it's to the point where I honestly am looking at the game and I'm like, can I even cover this long term? Like, it's cool, and like maybe I can milk a character here and there and like a new update, but there is so much downtime where like 50 minutes into stream, It's like I beat everything. Like there's nothing to do, and it's like holy shit. That's a problem when you're trying to cover a game and make content on a game. If you can't even do anything meaningful for 45 minutes, like that is a major problem content wise. If you want to play it casually, you do your thing, and they do keep bringing updates, but it's just tough as someone who is supposed to play games, full time as a job. It is not a game that you can play full time as a job, right? So, is what it is.
So, RGH member, official RGH gamer. By the way, if you want to become a member, click the link that Mtashed is going to put in the description right now.
Don't throw that on me. I have to go find it now. As soon as I can't just instantly do it.
This would go live, you'd find it.
I was copying your Manscaped link. You won't shut up about.
All right, so Mordsith Ezreal says, Kackis, what happened earlier with the fans? Spill the tea. All right, so to live up to the juicy drama emote that we're getting. So here's the little story that I talked about slightly earlier. I put out a skit video, just like, it's like a funny skit video. It's on my Twitter where it's like, I'm just pretending to do stuff. And my wife's like, oh my goodness. Like, and I kind of like, what's that sound? And she's like, oh, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just having some Kackis kiwi lime. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just enjoying the flavor. And I'm like, oh my, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a harmless skit. Some dude is like, that's it. He's like, it's been good. But I can't watch your content anymore. I reply like, is this a joke? He's like, nope. He's like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but like, I just can't. He's like, it's all about this G Fuel. And it's like, first of all, I literally say what you're just saying G. It's like, you're just being annoying. And also it's just like, it was one harmless Twitter skit and this guy sees it. He's like, nope. He's like, we can't have Kackis like possibly like doing any sort of sponsorship, anything like that. It's like, if I see it, I'm out. And it's like, dude, I've been making free content for 9 years and I'm still doing nothing.
I thought you were saying it was about like he thought it was too racy. You're saying it's about he just doesn't want sponsored content.
He mentioned none of that. He's just like, you're not. He's like, nope. I'm truly, I don't really understand what it was about. But it's like, imagine, that's the thing. It's so weird. Like, imagine being a content creator. You make a funny little skit, you put it out. You're like, oh, people will probably think it's funny. And you get some grown-ass man being like, I will never watch your content again. It's like, what is going on? Like, what happened? What?
How did I offend you so bad?
It's so bizarre, man. It's like bizarro world out there.
And a lot of people they're just really disconnected. They see content creators as sort of like a vending machine. Like you will only give me the thing that I tell you that I want, right? Like I input my command about what I want from you and you give it to me. If you don't give it to me, then this vending machine's busted. I need to go get a different one. And a lot of people are really disconnected from the reality that, we pull crazy hours. We're always grinding and it's a challenge. I know that, you guys, your wives work. I'm the sole provider financially for my household. So a lot of times I'll take sponsored gigs because I'm thinking about, hey, the wife wants to do a project in the house. We're going to be doing, we're converting a closet, for example. Right now, there's a main floor closet that we're converting into a pantry. How am I going to fund that? Okay, I'm going to pick up an extra sponsored gig this month. I'm going to make $1,500 off that, and they're going to use that directly to pay a contractor to come in. And you know what I mean? So it's like we got to plan. We got to take care of our kids, spouse, mortgages. We got all this stuff, same as anybody else. Right. And we got to pick that up somewhere. And so we do try. I don't know. I can't speak for you guys. I try to make sure that the products I do choose to partner with are products I do actually believe in. It's not like I'm just taking. You guys will never know how many things we turn down.
I turn down
a lot.
Like I said, probably like I'd be driving around in a Lamborghini if I accepted all the mobile game ads that like wanted to do me, and like all the boosting services and stuff.
BattleBots right now is on my butt. Like
it's a sponsored stream. Yeah. It's But yeah, it's big. People are really weird about that. It's like, no, you only give me free content. If you mention a sponsorship for 30 seconds, like I hate you now. Right? It's like,
here's the thing though. Here's the thing is like Rihanna or like Taylor Swift can make, hundreds and hundreds of songs and stuff. And, people probably listen to them for relatively free. Maybe they've got Spotify and stuff, but like no one questions Taylor Swift making $300 million. But if you do like an ad, it's like, oh, and now you're doing it for the money. And it's like, what do you like? I've made thousands of videos for free, and like, yes, it is my job. And I was talking about this today. I never am like asking for subs on Twitch because it's not your job to pay the bills. Like, it's not the audience's job to pay my bills. But like, if that's the case and I'm making all this content for free, why don't you let these big companies pay me money so I can just keep doing it and keep making the content for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like, do you want me to quit? Like, do you want me to go and get a job and not do content? Like, I don't know what you're asking here. It's such a weird thing. I think it's a personal thing, though. They all watch your videos, and it's like they know you, and they feel like, oh, you're selling out. You're selling your soul. You're changing, and it's like, I'm just trying not to go homeless, baby.
Yeah, it is a bizarre thing. I mean, yeah, and people will find like weird if you're not like shilling. It's something else. Like for me, it's like, oh, I put out a video on like I did like all of the Dreaming City reissued weapons, and it was like a 17-minute video, and people are like, this video is 17 minutes long. Stretching his content as usual. I'm gonna go hop onto the Destiny Reddit and tell you to go kill yourself. And it's like, dude, like most people are gonna cover one of those guns in 8 to 10 minutes. This is 4 different complete god rolls, everything you want for PvE and PvP in 17 minutes. Like again, normally it's 40 minutes worth of content. And it's like I could have easily made 4 different videos, gotten probably more revenue for myself, but I tried to make it all in one video. And it's like you gotta latch onto something. It's just like, hey, this content is totally free and accessible and optional to watch. I gotta find some way to like attack it. It's weird, but the good news is that 99% of the people watching are perfectly awesome. And most of the time, if you do a sponsored content, 90% of the people are like, get that bag, dude. They understand. They're with it. It's just like that 5% or whatever that are very, very weird about it. Right. And just, and will go after you. And like it's nothing good enough. Right.
Yeah. So we missed a couple sponsorships. Steven Mendoza donated $5 and he said, Phalanx21 asked, what is the most disappointing movie you've ever seen? And he wanted to do it so he'd answer it. What is the most disappointing movie you've ever seen?
Wonder Woman 1984 was pretty disappointing. I was so jazzed for that movie.
What?
The newest Wonder Woman film.
Oh,
the first one I thought was great. I loved Aquaman because as a fan of like the DC comics, like I loved that Aquaman was unapologetically like so far-fetched. And it got so much criticism because they're like, this is just ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, the comics were freaking ridiculous. And I unapologetically loved it. So Wonder Woman 1984 I was really jazzed about and extremely let down.
Kackis?
I just want to say Game of Thrones Season 8, even though it's not a movie.
Oh, we're on that again now. Okay.
It is the piece of media that it ruins my... I used to rewatch Game of Thrones all the time. I can't anymore because I just know it's going to end in horror. And I don't watch a ton of movies anymore. Like, it seems like media is shifting more towards like TV series and limited series and so on.
Disappointing. Like, I don't know if it's like bad or like I don't know how to quantify that. Is like disappointing is like I thought the movie was going to be good and it wasn't, or is it just like a bad movie? Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that that Tenant movie recently, I went in and I was like, oh, like maybe it's going to be like another one of these insane mind movies, and like it did have some stuff, but I didn't love it. I didn't love Tenet. And it felt like I couldn't hear a lot of the audio in the movie. Like they mixed it really poorly. And I'm like, what is he saying? And
dude, if you go into a Christopher Nolan movie and you want to hear the dialogue,
right?
Just
I know.
leave. Like you know what?
But it was so confusing.
It's Bane. You know what you're in for.
But the thing is like you needed to understand some of the dialogue to even understand the movie. It was so like woo. After it finished, I was like, okay, I get it, and like maybe I'll watch it again. But that was one where I was very, very excited going in, and I left like, okay. But
yeah,
have you guys ever walked out of a movie? Like you paid for a ticket and you walked out?
Never.
I've walked out of one movie. I really don't even remember the name of it. I went with my girlfriend when I was in college. There's this movie that came out with Johnny Depp in it,
mm-hmm.
and like. I don't remember what the name of it was. I
Was
Pirates
just
he was a
remember.
detective? He was like, "My name's Mordecai." And it was so
No,
fucking weird. Oh,
no.
that was a pretty good
He.
chance. That movie is
It was.
like
It
the
was.
bizarre.
The movie I walked out on. It's someone in chat's probably gonna know the name of it when I describe it. I don't remember it, but it was just so weird, and it didn't
You have
seem like it
scissors
had
really
any
bad?
story to it. The one thing that he did, he like was in. It's old timey, and he like he put his hand up his wife's dress in the middle of a carriage, and it like went on for real long. I was like, is this a porno or is it a movie? And that's not like I was overly against it, but I was like, where's the story? And then next thing I know, they're like doing a play where there's like 6 men riding on a giant penis the size of it's like 20-foot long paper mache penis. They're all like riding on it in a play,
Where did you
singing
say you
along, and
watched
we were
this?
like, I was like, listen, it's not that I'm against this stuff. It's like I'm just not entertained by it, and I have questions. And we left. I don't remember what it was. No, it wasn't Secret Window. That was a great film.
Chocolat.
I don't
Well,
remember.
Las Vegas.
I don't remember what it was called. I was just like, I'm lost, and I'm never gonna unsee a penis that big.
I walked out of 2. I walked out of Norbit, that one with Eddie Murphy, and he's like the kind of the nerd, and then he's got the fat chick, and she's like, "How are you doing?" I walked out of that one. I was like, "Holy shit, this is a bad movie." And the other one I walked out of, and a lot of people don't agree with me, was Cloverfield.
Wait, which one?
Oh, really? You walked at Cloverfield?
With like, because the camera's shaking all over the place, and
Yeah, it's a personal held camcorder.
Yeah,
it's
and
the whole gist of it.
we
Yeah.
were watching it, and we're like, you know what? Nah, this kind of sucks, and we walked out.
That started the whole like found footage. Like, well, technically it was Blair Witch, but it's like that style of filming is used in so much. It's all unnecessary. It's super unnecessary. I thought the concept of that, of like this monster destroys New York City, and you see it all from the perspective of like these people just like in the fray. No, because normally you have these big monster movies, and it's like a normal Godzilla where it's like we're gonna nuke him. It's like, Captain, you can't nuke him. It's like, well, we're gonna try it anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like, but like it gave kind of a different twist to the monster movie of like they're just trying to like escape. They're trying to get away.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just didn't like it. I was like, this sucks.
I mean, you're wrong, but
I'm getting dizzy, and we walked out. I ended up going and watching it again, but it just there's just something about it where I was like, you know what, I'm not entertained. Don't like it. We're moving on. We got another $5 donation from A Book Is Life. Much love to y'all on the podcast. Another $5 from Steven Mendoza funding the Gucci slides. And Mikkel Metz with Elite Gamer. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Someone said, best movie you ever watched. That's going to be a hard question. That's a loaded question.
What is the best movie you have ever watched?
I mean, like, honestly, it probably would be structurally something like Lawrence of Arabia or like Bridge Over the River Kwai or something like that.
Schindler's List.
You're like, but my heart says like Lord of the Rings or something like that, right? Because
do you want to know? Do you want to know which one it is for me? I don't know why.
What?
Recently, well, okay, my all-time favorite movie is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Just don't worry about it. But recently, where I watched a movie, because I've seen Interstellar and all these different ones, but I really enjoyed The Martian. I've never cared. I've never cared about a character so much as The Martian, because I really liked Matt Damon's character. He struggled and he overcame, and I was like proud for him. It was like science-y, and there was like some science stuff where I was like, hey, this makes sense, but also some out there stuff where it's like, holy shit, and epic. And I thought The Martian was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Loved it.
It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not as good as Interstellar, but nice try. Just kidding.
Interstellar was cool too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Dude, that's another one where they're trying to like their characters are talking to each other, and Hans Zimmer is on the organ, just like reading it. You like try to hear like what's going on. You're like, what's the
Yeah, like, what's that plot point? And it's
and he's like, but it's like
honestly, it's almost like when we're trying to do this podcast and you just keep cutting us off. Like, it's almost that same vibe, right?
Some of my top movies would be Hot Fuzz. I love Hot Fuzz. It is a phenomenal movie.
Right.
And The Last Samurai is up there too. I love The Last Samurai.
Love
Hot
the
Fuzz
ending stuff.
Is
so
a
good.
classic. Hot Fuzz is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Someone asked, would skill-based matchmaking be good for Trials of Osiris? I'm going to be real with you. If you introduce skill-based matchmaking, I like the idea of it. I like the idea of making it more approachable for common gamers. But the trouble you run into there is that your account recoveries are going to double in number, because recoveries are going to be logging into accounts that have much lower skill than the person who's actually playing on it. And it's going to be a cakewalk for them. And they're just going to chew on casual players like their breakfast. And then they're going to pump out content. They're going to have YouTube videos of them stomping in trials. While they're doing their recoveries, their streams are going to blow up. Recovery numbers are going to skyrocket. And then it's basically just going to create a new problem that recoveries are also going to fix. And they're just going to make bank. And the casual players, again, are going to be forced out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you think skill-based matchmaking is a good idea, like, you're not going to match players of your skill. You're going to match recoveries that are pretending to be your skill, like, all the time. That is true.
That is true. That's pretty much it, though, I think, for the episode. I think we need to cut it here. It's been an hour and a half of Absolute Gamer Hour. Again, if you have not followed, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for all the amazing donations. Thanks for all the sub support today. And thank you guys for just loving us, because we're almost at 20,000 subscribers. It's amazing.
Yo!
If you want to catch the next episode, it'll be next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Be there or be square. But we also have the podcast on Spotify, on Anchor, on Apple Music. It's usually uploaded in a day or two. We just got a $50 bomb from Christopher Sharp. Yo! Massive. Thank you so much, Christopher Sharp. We appreciate you. We love you. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And click the link in the description down below, or use code KackisHD20
yes,
for your grooming needs. Let me tell you, it's recommended quite literally by all three of us. It's just like, if you want to use the code to support the generosity of all three of us instead of just one of these guys, it's up to you.
Should I cut the intro off right there while he's trying to talk? Because I can.
Oh, I wouldn't have been surprised.
I'm True Vanguard.
Yeah. I'm Mtashed. I'm Mtashed. Kackis True Vanguard. And we will see you guys very soon for the next episode of the RGH.